Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Mystic Quest, and when last we left off, Jim fought his way into Castle Glaive. Along the way, he found a Cyclops that definitely wasn't an ogre, and defeated him for his Morning Star, and then found a Chimera that definitely wasn't Garuda, and defeated the Chimera as well. We also found Skye, which is handy because we need to keep her out of the clutches of the Empire Glaive. All we need to do now is find the pendant that no doubt Dark Lord has, and then we'll be fine. We'll just need to find a deep part of the ocean and throw the pendant in, and everything will be fine. As fine as it can be, anyway. Just to check one thing, we cannot rest in that bed. Understandable considering the fact that we're right in the middle of an enemy castle. And once more, we can ask Skye to treat Jim's wounds, which is handy, because we're going to need a lot of healing in this place. This place is a very difficult dungeon. It may be a castle, but it effectively is a dungeon. And is that a secret wall? It is not. We're going to be finding a fair few of them in our travels. Let's look around and defeat everybody, starting with these really tough soldiers, and the shields on those soldiers do actually work as shields. The mages are also really difficult, but we can take care of them quite handily. What we're going to do is we're going to ignore this area, which the stairs lead to, and we're going to explore the various sections of the castle, starting with the section that is over to the west, and I've no idea how that wizard managed to walk through solid walls. It is just the magic that the Empire Glaive possesses. Really infeasible magic. Being able to heal on command is useful, but we really need to be careful here because there are a few traps in the floors that we haven't seen before. We have seen spikes before, we're going to encounter a few rooms with them, but there's something even nastier than spikes. A level up isn't nasty though, a level up is awesome, and we definitely want more power. There is also something really cool about this Morning Star that we're going to find out when we encounter one particular enemy that's been causing me problems. The enemies that need a lot of fire magic can actually sort of be hurt by the Morning Star. I've no idea how that works, but it does work. Let's check to see if we're at full health, and the answer is, we were short a few hit points. We always want to be at maximum if we can make that happen. Sometimes we can't because we're too busy fighting, but that will be a rare time indeed. Also, if only those soldiers had spears that they could throw at Jim, they'd be far more effective. Running into these enemies actually doesn't do a lot of damage. Getting hit by that magic will if it hits us at a bad angle. I think the shield does a good job of deflecting some of the damage we'll take. There is a soldier that is trying to defeat us while outside of the castle, and spinning around quite happily, likely because he knows that he's not going to be killed by us. Little does he know that our reach extends far beyond this wall, and the fact that that enemy is likely far further beneath us than we think. Perspective is odd like that. But we managed to kill that soldier anyway. Just a little bit of healing, and then we'll move into this very large interior area. Here are some spikes, where we're going to take a lot of damage. Fortunately, Skye doesn't take any damage, and so with a little bit of healing, we'll be moving on into this room. We're also going to need a fair few keys in here, which is why there was that room in the sewers where we can get some keys. Like here. We're definitely going to need all of these keys, and why am I wanting to use that one when I have this one that I could use instead? Open Sesame! Equip Silver Sword D! For indeed, we need to attack with a Silver Sword here. We could use our magic, but why do that when we can just use the Silver Sword? And conserve our magic, because Skye cannot heal our magic. Just stab these a few more times. It's really not a very powerful sword, but just the fact that it can hurt these enemies means that you tend to keep it around for the entire game. I don't think we ever get a good replacement for this sword. We'll just re-equip the Morning Star. It is going to be our go-to weapon for a little while yet. And in this room are enemies. And the room to the south is a room you really don't want to go into, because in here are enemies and nothing else, and we really don't want to defeat these enemies unless you want some experience, and we always want experience. We'll just equip the Silver Sword here, because that foe cannot be bested with the Morning Star. maybe we'll be able to fly around the room, or we'll just hit it a few times. Gotta be careful that they can inflict dark. The soldiers can also inflict dark, so you need to watch out for that. Not that it's really going to be that much of a problem, because I don't think any of the combination of soldiers or magicians take advantage of that fact. We'll just do some healing here, and we'll defeat these foes once more. Really easy foes. No idea why Dark Lord has these here. And what about these skeletal remains? They tell us that there's something here that we need to watch out for. And there are sparkly things on the floor. Those sparkly things are deadly. And when I say deadly, I mean we might have single-digit hit points if we walk onto one of those. Do not walk onto them. I'm not even going to show off walking on them, because there's a high chance that we will die in the process. So just take my word for it and don't step on them. We want to defeat these enemies, and we want to step on that floor switch. I originally thought when I first saw this that we had to freeze one of those enemies and then push the snowman onto it. You don't, you just need to step on it. Which is fine, because we can do that. We can't reach this, however, until our will bar is at maximum. And we have dark there. And dark means that we can't see that switch. Doesn't matter, we don't need to see it to be able to activate it. Which is handy. And we'll just wait here. And whee! Over we went. We're going to ask for assistance here, and re-equip that Morning Star. This is a very large dungeon, and I don't remember if there are any goodies for us to locate. What we need to locate is we need to locate the pendant. Is there anything here? The answer is no. Anything here? The answer is no. And is there anything here? The answer is no, but there are some fine tiles in the floor here. We must be getting close. In here are some enemies that we can quite capably defeat. The Morning Star's really good against the soldiers because even if they're facing you, one part of the animation will hit them. These mages have no idea what they're up against when it comes to Jim and his Morning Star. And we gained a level up. Always good. Let's get some more wisdom, shall we? That will bar is rising up really fast, but we want it to go up even faster than that in the future. And here are the enemies that I was talking about. And there is dark. Dark is not good. We want to get rid of that flame by using fire, and then we'll see if this works. We will equip something else. We'll equip the... No, we still have the Morning Star, that's fine. I was about to say we should equip some Cure Magic, but there's really no point with Skye here. We can actually hit them with the Morning Star. I have no idea how that works, but it works. Actually, might as well just keep fire equipped, just in case we encounter some foes that can't be defeated by the Morning Star. I've no idea why the Morning Star does work on them. I'm very glad it does, though. And down here is a room where we really want to use fire. We could equip the Silver Sword, but there's really no point. And we found an ether. It'll come in handy at some point, I'm sure. This room has loads of enemies in it, and we can go left or right. And if memory serves, going left will take us to an area where we need to be very careful how we fight. So for now, we're going to go right. And in here are even more enemies for us to best. And that Morning Star really doesn't have to be accurate to hit. Just sort of flail and forget with this. Just fling it around and you'll hit something, I'm sure. What is in here? The answer is we may never know as the door is locked. Alternatively, we could just unlock it and move in. Ah! There's a room here that we might be able to rest in. There's only one way to find out, and that is to defeat these enemies, and then try. Also, we'll just, yep, that's better. What do you have? An X-Ether. Always handy. Let's try this bed, shall we? The answer is we can rest in this bed. No idea why we couldn't rest in the other bed, but we can rest in that one. There are no enemies here. There may be enemies in here again, though, and there aren't. We're going to equip the Wind Spear now. You may think that I want to have the Morning Star for this next room. I do not want the Morning Star, because we want to not hit any of those chests. If we hit any of them, without others appearing that is, we won't be able to move on into the next room. So we need to be very careful with how we attack. That said, we are really strong, so only a few hits will defeat these werewolves. They do love throwing the werewolves in when you have to be careful with not hitting treasure chests, I've found. Down we go, and into here. we might be getting very close to where we need to go. Or maybe we're not. Who can say? What we can say is we have some really easy foes to defeat here. Another opportunity to stock up on mattocks and keys. And I don't have fire equipped because I equipped the keys. We want to have some fire for this. Aha! Burn, bouncing blob thing. As we move on into this room, and this room is likely going to have some wall that we can smash. Not that one, not that one, that one. There we go. And you are dead. Let's move on, shall we? More enemies! I'd like to know how these soldiers and mages navigate around when there are walls you literally need to smash down to get around. Maybe they have other ways, like secret corridors behind the walls, or just other doors that we don't use. The latter is far more likely. Let's defeat this owl and this pumpkin enemy. And this looks like we're getting to a very important location. So we're going to go up here, into this room. We're definitely getting somewhere important. Does the Morning Star work on them? Yes, it does. And there is a wisdom crystal. I'm going to find out what they do. Let's just equip that and use it. Besides, we could do with having the inventory space. I have no idea what that does. Let's have a look at our status. Our wisdom has increased dramatically. I don't know if that's permanent or temporary. We're going to find out as we move on. Let's head up here, shall we? And here is a room with some statues. I imagine they're statues of Dark Lord, now that I think about it. After all, he is the leader of the Empire Glaive. He would have statues of himself around. And that is a secret wall. I wasn't even checking for that. Let's go up there, actually, and see what there is. And I've no idea why an enemy respawns so quickly there. The answer is, there are some enemies and a door. We need to be very careful, because once we get to a certain point, events will happen that mean that we'll be in a slightly worse situation in this castle. And we can't carry that because we're carrying way too much. We don't need this pillow. Let's get rid of that for an X-Cure. X-Cures are far better after all. This door is locked. We're going to use a key to open it. There we go. And here is a room with some very dangerous enemies. I wonder if I'm missing something by not going the other way first. We should probably have fire equipped just to take care of these enemies in a much more simple manner. Excellent. And you are gone. We don't even need to be facing you to kill you. Haha. Up here is another room with these weird triangle monuments. We have no idea what those triangle things are for. Maybe they're there just to block the way. And that looks like a lot of enemies that we don't need to fight. But you know what? We'll fight them anyway. And gain a level up. I'm very glad that I did. We shall get even more power and move on. After we defeated you. Don't think you can get away with being defeated. Excellent. We shall head in this direction. And there is a carpet. No idea why there's a carpet, considering the fact that there are just enemies roaming around. But I suppose they want something... we've been turned to stone. This is something that can happen. And this may be a room where we need to use the ice spell. There's only one way to find out, and that is to equip the ice spell. Let's see if this works, shall we? We shall freeze one of these foes. You will do just... Oh, and I missed. You would have done just fine. You'll do fine, and you will... Oh, careful, we want you to be, there. Much better. And you can just perish. We shall find out if we needed to use ice here right now. So we'll push that there, and then we'll push this here. Did we need to use ice? We did indeed need to use ice. Aha! Problem solving. And I always thought that these were just holes in the ground, that this was kind of a grill mesh. That really mustn't be safe to walk over. Let's get some healing, shall we? We are short a few hit points. And in here is a room with even more enemies. I have to give Dark Lord one thing. His base of operations is very well guarded, as it should be. 1 hit for you, 2 hits for you, and you really should equip spears or axes. They're really good to throw. And this looks like a very important room. Unfortunately, we are kind of frozen on the spot right now, so we're just going to have to hope that the enemies walk into our line of fire. And they probably will at this rate. Having something to get rid of stone does have its advantages, because this can happen. I could have been stuck in an infinite loop of being afflicted with stone for quite a while, but fortunately the enemies weren't that cunning in their attack, and so we are here. I've no idea where here is, because I doubt the map for this area corresponds to what's outside in the castle Glaive. Let's go, shall we? This looks rather important. It looks very important indeed. This is a throne room. It's safe to say that we have made it to the heart of the castle, and we can sit on the throne and pretend to be the rulers of the Empire Glaive if we wanted to. I don't know why we'd want to, but the option is there. And that is why it's dangerous to be afflicted with stone in these rooms, because the soldiers will walk into you and deal quite a lot of damage. Look at me, Skye! I rule the Empire Glaive! I give the orders around here! Don't we have something really urgent to do, like prevent the dooming of the world? Oh, you're no fun. I'm just trying to keep you focused. I know. Let's just treat your wounds and move on, shall we? And here is a room where we're going to step up these stairs, and something important is going to happen. We're going to end up here. It's Dark Lord. Looks like you've been a bit stronger. That's right, I've leveled up far more since the first time we met. Indeed you have. And it seems like your armor is made of opals? I really question your armor. It's quite good, actually. But not enough to fight me, boy. Stay outside. It will be too dangerous here. Why do you think that? Well, what do you mean? I've been with you in numerous fights, and I wasn't in any trouble at all. She does have a point. She should really stay here. After all, you need all the help you could get. No, I insist. You need to go into the other room so I can't see what's happening to you while we fight. That seems like a really poor idea. Trust me, it's the only way. We're going to regret this, aren't we? I don't see why. You're a fool, Jim. You're an absolute fool. Okay, but be careful, and if something goes wrong, I get to say what I told you so. Well, nothing will go wrong, but alright. Good boy, Jim. Now come and die. Here is the boss fight with Dark Lord. What does Dark Lord do? He sort of walks around and swings his sword randomly. It's really not a very difficult fight. It does have fantastic music, though. That brilliant boss music that I really like. He does sort of try to aim in your direction, and the shield he has does work as a shield. We also get to see his sprite of being of facing down, which is not something that you see very often. You tend to see the sprite with him looking up and looking to the side. We just need to time our attacks carefully and make sure that we have Cure equipped, because we will take some nasty hits if he manages to get close to us or hit us with that sword. We just need to be very careful. This fight certainly isn't the most difficult fight that we've had, though. It's a little bit anticlimactic for a final boss encounter. Very anticlimactic for a final boss. But sometimes that's the way it goes. So we'll just hit a few more times. We need to definitely time our attacks better, because right now he's just facing us every time we try and strike at him. And we're not going to get any hits off if that happens. Carefully does it, and a hit here? Nope, we missed. The Morning Star's actually a really not great weapon for facing Dark Lord here, because it takes a long time to swing. So you need to really have something like the Wind Spear or a sword, but we haven't had a good sword for a very long time. So for now we're just going to flail with the Morning Star until we defeat Dark Lord and recover the pendant. Because that's what we're fighting Dark Lord for, to get the pendant back, because surely Dark Lord is wearing it as we speak. I think he actually is on the model there, or maybe that's just how he always looks. You never really get that much opportunity to look that closely at Dark Lord's sprite, as it appears so rarely. And Dark Lord is gone! defeated Dark Lord. Received pendant. It's fake! Then where is the real pendant? I better go ask Skye and see what she thinks about this. Uh-oh. That's not good. Skye? Where could she be? Julius? Where is he? Must be at the waterfalls! And we immediately leave the castle. And there is Skye. Skye! She doesn't even react beyond looking at us. Skye? Something is very, very wrong. And we're going to find out what by following. She went over to the waterfall, and the waterfall is over here. When we come back, folks, we'll see just how badly things are going, and just how wrong we were to make Skye go into the other room while we fought Dark Lord. It would seem that Dark Lord has been betrayed, but who would betray Dark Lord, and why? I can't think of anyone that's devious enough to do that. Or maybe I can think of someone. Nah, it surely can't be that person. That would be silly. Or would it? So when we come back, folks, we'll find out just what's going on. And then we'll see if we can make things right again. Knowing Jim, chances are we can't. So I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.